Morning, children of God.
Good morning.
So good to have you all here with us this fine Sunday morning. We played with this one a little bit because sometimes we think prayer is a mental activity, and it is. However, to pray is to participate both mentally, or all three, mentally, emotionally, and physically in the activity of life. The activity of life. Goes back to that pray unceasing story, which is a good way to start. So let's start that way. Let's center. Breathe. Oh, loving Father, Mother God, we acknowledge your presence right here, right now, moving in and through us. We ask this day for your guidance, and we will be open to your instruction. We come this day in gratitude for the opportunity to worship, to sing, and to pray in the name, in the nature, and in the power of the Christ. Amen.
Today's daily word is faith, and Roberta will read the daily word.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, the seed of faith within me expresses through every choice I make. When I consider the totality of life in its many expressions, I may feel overwhelmed. Jesus provided a teaching that encourages us to keep things in perspective. Faith the size of a mustard seed. That tiny seed of faith within me consists of two words: God is. There is a power of infinite love and a spiritual dimension that embraces and transcends our limited human understanding. I plant that seed of faith, and I nurture it daily with affirmations and careful, loving choices. Minute by minute, day by day, choice by choice, the infinite life and love of Mother, Father, God expresses in every part of my life. For truly I tell you, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. Matthew 17:20.
Explanation. Yeah, it's just a little explanation.
Okay.
But it goes like this. There are no words misspelled in this slide. Now, for those of you who may be wondering, if that's true, what in heck is heart? H-A-R-T. Aha! A heart is a small little rabbit. So as the heart longs, the little rabbit longs for flowing streams, so longs my soul for thee. Make sense? Let's see if we can't sing this. 40-second song.
Okay.
For your
See, it was awesome. It's better with the explanation, I think. The interesting thing about that song and many of the other things that occur around us is we take from that which has come before us and we modify it to our own use. Okay? And this is also true with the 42nd Psalm as well. But there are words that we don't use in common everyday language that keep showing up. And so sometimes we just need to take a time out and say, okay, this is what that meant for them, and then how does it relate to me? Which is what this is all about. Right? Being a good Christian is a great way to live, but if it doesn't work for me today, it's just a real nice thought. Right? Which is why we work with the word practical Christianity. We want to be able to put that process to work in our life today. The same way as it was taught so many years ago. But we bring it into a language we can understand today. Steve and I were talking a little bit ago about how our language has changed. And we have to be cautious. I saw this the other day. The letter U, the letter R, a space, the letter G, the letter R, and the number 8. What they were saying to me is, Rob, you are great. I went, thank you, Lord. We started with hieroglyphics on the wall. We're continuing that with emojis, and here you are. But it doesn't matter what the language is as long as you can work it in here as to what does it mean for you. And so the more often that you can state with power and authority who you are, speak the truth of you, even if you don't buy into it just yet, but speak that truth, the more it will show up in your world. Let's take our affirmation together. I am a child of the living God. I have within me the all-creating power of the Christ. It radiates from me and blesses all whom I contact. I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I am now in the presence. Let's join with Steve. I am. From your heart now. Gently now and easily. we move to that place within that Jesus called our inner closet, our secret place. And as we enter in this day, we'll follow his instruction and his guidance. He said, as you enter in, close the door. We close the door on those thoughts and feelings of what I should have done. We close the door on those thoughts and feelings of what I have yet to do this day. And for a few holy moments, we rest, we pray, and we listen. For in our prayers, we are learning to ask, and ask believing. And in the silence and in the stillness, answers come. This day, in our prayers, we ask for your blessings on each and every person involved in fighting the wildfires in California, in Oroville, and in Southern California, Santa Barbara, and to those who are fighting in Colorado as well. We ask for your guidance and direction on every person involved so that the highest and best outcome will be seen. We ask for healing for those who have asked us to pray with them. Our friend Joyce Robinson, Donna Hunt, Mary Lucido, our friends from Klamath Falls, and from around the world. This day we hold them and each other in the light and in the life of the Christ. Here in the stillness and in the silence, we are blessed. And from this blessing we know we are channels through which good flows into our world. This day and in this moment, we choose to open that channel wide. From me, through me, good flows. From you, through you, good flows. First, into this room. Touching, healing, blessing. Joining with other thought of like mind and growing in strength and in power. From you, through you, good flows into our spiritual community, wherever you might be this day. We know wherever you are, God is. From me, through me, good flows into our city. Touching, healing, blessing. In this knowing I am blessed. And I choose to continue to be a blessing. From me, through me, good flows. Across our state, across our country, around our world. From me, through me, good flows throughout our universe. And in this knowing I am blessed. And in this blessing I am reminded, in spirit and in truth, we are never separate one from the other. Right now, somewhere, somewhen, someone is saying thank you for the gifts that have come this day. From you, through you, are gratefully received, and that gratitude swells up and returns to you. The circle of life, whole and complete. This day, I rest in it. I breathe in it. For one holy moment. Knowing there is more yet for me to do this day. Holding to this experience we have just shared, gently now and easily, bring your attention back to this place, to this room, to this now. And we join together and pray as Jesus, our elder brother, has taught us when he said, "As for you, pray therefore in this manner." Before we began this morning, Steve and I were talking about whether he's going to play that once through or twice. And then he said something to me that wasn't true, but I loved him through it anyway. He says, the reason that I may only do it once is because I don't know that I have the bridge work and music, how to hook the two parts together. And I just smiled and said, okay. And what you heard was Steve allowing God to work through him. He felt you. He listened to you. Earlier he'd asked, and you were the answer. Right? The very fact that you are here this morning is the result of an ask. Father, lead me, guide me, so that this message of truth and of hope and of love can permeate my world. Because they don't get it yet. Now that wasn't Rob saying that, that was Jesus. 2,000 years later, we're still working on it. Right? Because we have fallen out of the habit of asking. In the newsletter, I put out a list of 9 things that you should ask before you come to church on Sunday, and not the least of which is, do and does leadership pay attention when I ask a question? And the answer is, yeah, we do. Don't always get your way. I don't always get mine. But we do listen, and we do try to put things into perspective and say, how does it fit within the message? And what part of the message is so ingrained in us, is so natural for us, that we need to remind others of what the base is. I mean, it's kind of like standing on top of the Empire State Building and say, you know, the foundation of this building is pretty good. There's a lot of trust there, right? I hope it's a good foundation, right? Wouldn't be so good if they built on sand, now would it? Right? But they need to ask, and so I ask, and through you and every one of God's children, answers come. One of the ones that God asked, one of the questions that God asked is unity Bible-based? And the answer is yes. And the question was raised because, you know, I come to church a lot, and I don't hear you talk about the Bible a lot. Okay. Halfway right, but only halfway. You see, because what I've done and what I continue to do is take the Word and break it into today. And not get hung up in the Word itself, but rather in the action. And having said that, if you think about it, what pieces has Rob talked about this morning that we haven't heard in a while? How does the word practical Christianity sound to you? The ability to put into practice that which we teach today. That's what unity was founded on. You see, it's so ingrained in me that I forget to say anything about it. I just do it. Right? It's like water to a fish. How do you explain water to a fish? You don't. It's just part of his environment. Right? The Bible as the base for who we are and what we believe, as a foundation, is just so true for me that I forget that we need to talk about that sometimes, so that we can hear the words as they were originally spoken, more or less, because it depends on which translation you're using. I get that. We had fun with that one too. This morning we were talking about the 42nd Psalm. It reads significantly different than the song we just sang when you read it in Hebrew. And translated directly from Hebrew and Aramaic to English, a little bit different. But the translation works the same. As that little one longs for a flowing stream, so my soul longs for you. That statement is going to remain true as it was when it was written, so today. But I just need to bring it into construct and context for today. That's part of what we do. How do I take this message and put it to work today? Which led to this: ask, ask, ask. Book of John. 23rd verse. Jesus is talking about what's coming up. And he says, your heart will rejoice, and your joy no man will be able to take away from you. And he says, in this day, you will not ask for anything. Truly I say to you that whatever you ask my Father in my name, ask and you will receive, so that your joy may be full. I have spoken these things in figures, but the time is coming when I will not speak to you in figures, but will plainly explain to you concerning the Father. In that day, you will ask in my name, and I will not say to you, I will ask the Father concerning you. For the Father himself loves you because you have loved me and have believed that I came from the Father. I came forth from the Father, and I came into the world, and again I am leaving the world, and I'm going to the Father. He was leaving a message. And the message was, you don't need to come through me to the Father. You can go to the Father direct. Because we're the same, you and I. We are one, you and I. And I don't need to ask on your behalf. You can ask. But you have to learn how to ask. That's all. That's all. That's all. Right? 2,000 years later, we're still working on that ask part. But here's how it works. As an example. Yesterday was our sacred healing meditation. We've been doing it for, roughly 5 years now. We were talking about that. And as a part of that healing process, the idea as an individual is to learn how to just be open and let God flow in and through you in a healing mode. And the ask went like this. We've been doing this for 5 years. Can we notch it up just a little? I went, huh? Well, let's see if we can't notch it up to an intuitive level. Now, it's part of that process is to work an intuitional blessing. But the ask was, from the very beginning of this process through it, can you raise up, open yourself wider, if for the lack of a better term, and work through that intuitive spirit within you as we work together to heal. And again, the interesting thing was, it wasn't about a specific, dear Lord, heal my knee, or my toes, right? It was just, I want to be open to any and all possibilities. Why? Because I want to learn how, from the very top of my head to the tips of my toes, every cell of my being, to express the oneness, the truth, the perfection with which I was created. I need to do that. Part of it goes back to the prayer this morning. This is how everything works. It's not just the mental exercise. It's the emotional one. I need to feel this. When I say to you, when we share an experience, I'm inviting you to feel that presence flowing in and through you. I'm asking you to take time to feel that emotionally and physically, because when you work emotionally, when you work intellectually, here's the truth. This body temple will respond. You will react physically. Now, sometimes it's really, really obvious. Sometimes not so much. Sometimes it's just a sense of peace, a feeling that says, I'm right where I need to be in this moment. All the stuff that's going on in my world, I can set it aside for one holy moment. I'm right where I need to be in this moment. Doesn't matter what my circumstances are. Doesn't matter what challenges I'm facing. For right now, in this moment, I am one. I'm allowing the Christ of me, the Christ as me, to flow from me into my world. And as a result of the ask, interesting things come about. Those healers you need in your life show up. The words that you need to hear to remind you of who you are then spoken. And you're learning how, as I am learning how, just to do this. This is so much fun. And that's part of the ask. When people say to you, how was church today? That's an ask. What's your answer? Oh, it was okay. Coffee was nice. They had sweet rolls after. And that's good. I don't have a problem with that. At least we know why you came. Kidding. Huh? I would hope it would be, and it's just a hope on my part, it's not a request even so much, it's an ask for me, is what came through to you this day that made your life. But I went to church today, and guess what I heard? I heard how to live my life in love, and I'm just so grateful. Now, if you were to say that to every person who ever asked you, what would this room look like? Yes? We'd have overflow, wouldn't we? Because, see, people want a piece of that. I want to know how to feel better. I want to know how to live my life better than it is. The challenge comes, as we teach it, is there's no guarantee. Our thoughts are prayers. Okay, I don't like what's going on in my world. I'm going to change my thinking. We all agree with that? That's what Jesus said, and he told it to Paul. Paul said, as you think, so it is. Now, there you go. Okay? Here comes the rub. I changed my thoughts, and my picture didn't change. I still think it hums. Well, it didn't say, I guarantee you the next picture is going to be better. It just said, I'm going to give you another picture. Okay. If it's not to my liking, what do I have to do? Have another thought. Just change the thought. Continue to work and change the ask. Dear Lord, you know the last picture I had? Not so good. Just saying. Can I get a little guidance here, a little direction? I ask you, open my eyes that I may see. It's a song. Open my eyes that I may see a new way to walk in truth, to express joy, to express love. Because when I do that, my world changes. We've done this as an experiment, and I've played with it, really kind of fun. Is when you go to the grocery store, particularly if you have lots of stuff, going to take the checker an hour to check you out. Not quite that bad. Before you check it out, run the whole aisle. Look at the face of each and every checker and find the one that's having the worst day. Not the best day, because that one you'll spot. They're smiling and they're happy and they're ringing things. No, I want the one that's doing this. Just bid on a lemon, right? Because guess what I'm going to do is I'm unloading that hour's worth of work. I'm smiling. And I am loving them through whatever experience they have. 9 times out of 10, doesn't happen every time, I don't guarantee that either, but 9 times out of 10, before I'm done, I get this. Thank you, have a wonderful day. And they might not even know why they're thanking me. And it's okay, because I didn't do it to get thanks. I did it to express the truth of who I am in my world, that regardless of what seems to be going on, love is here. Good is here. God is here, right now. And we just need to express it in every way we can. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't challenges in my life. There are. Somebody said to me, you know, Rob, you really expletive deleted, me off. Because you're always happy and you're smiling. What's up with that? Don't you ever have a bad day? I said, yeah, I have bad days all the time, but you never see them. Because when I have a bad day, I do what my teacher taught me. Go apart and pray. What am I praying for? I'm asking, dear Lord, I don't want to have a bad day. And 9 times out of 10, the voice says to me, so smile. Jeez. Okay. Right? It's on me, see? When God talks to me, I just need to learn how to listen. And then put it to work. And I don't worry about the slings and arrows. No big deal. He is my shield. He is my buckler. Old language meaning you can't get there from here. Right? I'm protected, is what it comes down to. Doesn't mean they aren't coming. Doesn't mean those aren't aiming. They are. But that's just not who I am, and I'm not going to live there. Right? I'm going to ask. Knowing, ask another lesson, ask believing, and it shall be given you. Shall be. See, there's no ambiguity there. When you ask believing, it's a done deal. So you've got to pay attention to what you're asking for. Step by step. So sometimes you ask for something that's not in your best interest, and sometimes you get that. May I humbly suggest that when it happens, don't blame God. Just say it. Okay? Just say, oops, I need to rethink that picture a little bit so that I can live it differently. I can experience my world differently in a new way. Okay? And all I have to do is find tools that work for me. Here's a tool that works for Rob, and you can use it or not. No matter what is going on in my world, when I am willing to sit down and literally do this. The wealth of a man of power is sustained by his strength. He does not depend on divine guidance. Strength. From where does strength come? From within. So I need to learn from within. Divine guidance in its meaning here means from out there to me. You see, we're still trying to figure out, where does God live? I got this picture in the sky, yes? Okay. As long as we continue to hold that thought, and we will for a while, that's fine. But Jesus said, where does God live? When asked, he said, within. So when I learn how to ask to see that structure within, then I too will do as he did. Express the one through me. I have to have a base. I have to have a foundation. And the foundation begins with this. Regardless of what's going on in my world, I need to look each and every one of God's children smack dab in the eye, whether they're here in my presence or anywhere in my world or my universe for that matter, and say to that child of God, including me, I love you. Got a picture? Together. I love you. To that child of God, I bless you. Together. I bless you. To that child of God, I appreciate you. Together. I appreciate you. And to that child of God, in this moment, I strip aside all pretense. And to that child of God, I behold the Christ. Together. I behold the Christ. You just changed your world. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Please feel free to pass this message along to your friends and family. You can obtain additional audio tapes or CDs by visiting our website or by calling our office at 541-772-6902. We invite you to join us in prayer. We know that prayer works, and now you can send your prayer request to our prayer team here at Christ Unity Church by using the form on our website. The activities, programs, and services of this ministry are presented on a love offering basis. All gifts, regardless of size, are gratefully accepted. You may participate either by sending your gift to Christ Unity Church, 540 North Holly Street, Medford, Oregon, 97501, or by visiting us on the internet at www.unitymedford.org.